Fires it. Morris. Got it. Three-pointer is good. Monte Morris.
They feed him from up high, and he can catch it in the paint. There's not much Draymond can do.
Stephen Curry, little runner in the lane. Wiggins with the board. Jokic has 8 in the quarter, 24 for the game. Thompson set up by Curry. Cash money. Jokic is open 3 from three-point range. Deflection by Morris. And Porter able to get it back. Finds Klay Thompson.
The NBA playoffs get a little bit closer and closer and closer to crowning a champion. They've kicked off. Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson heating up right there. You can watch another highlight of him right here. The Warriors beat the Nuggets. I got some freezing cold takes all over the internet.com last night about Jordan Poole versus Bol Bol. Bol Bol, of course, drafted by the Nuggets. Jordan Poole drafted by your Golden State Warriors. And Golden State Warriors looking pretty good. Jordan Poole looking really good, which is annoying. Super annoying if they found another really good player. There's Jordan Poole right there. You see him? 29 points in 34 minutes. Steph Curry, 34 points in 23 minutes. That guy's pretty good. A little bit of breaking news right there. Other scores from the NBA playoffs, of course, the 76ers win. They were up by almost 30, I think, at one point, maybe more than 30. You lose count at a certain point. The Raptors did get it back to 11 at some point in the fourth quarter, but the Sixers just put their foot on the throat of the Toronto Raptors. 31 points from Joel Embiid. James Harden had 14. Maxey had 23. Harris had, the Sixers, I think the Sixers might be the team this year. The Suns beat the Pelicans by 11, excuse me. Oh, they covered. What a sweat. What's up? Who do we have to thank for that? 25 points from Booker, 30 from Paul. Mikal Bridges with 11 points also. Man, that's some good stuff. But the big news yesterday, the thing that everyone's talking about, is this thing where this guy, Davion Smith, who used to play football for the University of Michigan, is now in the USFL. He was cut for wanting pizza over chicken salad. I have not watched this. Let's do it together.
John Peterson, personnel director.
But when I first talked to you guys on March 22nd, I had a handbook. I covered some items. So unfortunately, hear me out. Unfortunately, cost of doing business, I'm going to have to let you go. Okay?
I didn't think I did anything or said anything disrespectful.
I can tell you what happened exactly.
It's not important right now.
Right.
It's not important.
I don't know.
It's already happened.
Right.
Addresses that. Any disrespect, all are. Because that's the nature.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
But when I first talked to you guys on March 22nd, I had a handbook. I covered some items that were very important to me. Line 46 addresses that. Any disrespect of football or members, staff, USFL, hotel, etc.
Sure.
would not be tolerated.
Right.
It's been brought to my attention that
Very
I shared with you.
high school-ish, I guess, but
Unfortunately, hear me out.
yeah.
Unfortunately, cost of doing business, I'm going to have to let you go. Okay?
I didn't think I did anything
All right.
or said anything disrespectful.
Walked in with pizza, and I was like, can I get a slice of pizza?
All right, let's hear it. I want to hear the story. I found the story.
That's it. And I walked away. I mean,
What?
I didn't think that was disrespectful. Me saying yes, I don't eat chicken salad. And I was like, is there another option? Walked in with pizza, and I was like, can I get a slice of pizza? He said no. I was like, he said, is that going to be a problem? I said yes. That's all I said. I didn't say no cuss word, nothing. That's all I said. I promise you. No disrespectful on my dad's life.
They want this dude to eat chicken salad, and he wants pizza, and then they said you can't have pizza, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to eat then? And he got cut. And the USFL is already sad with Paxton Lynch and Shea Patterson trying to scrape together a paycheck, and we're cutting people over pizza? I guess is this coach guy? Is he trying to prove he's a tough guy, I guess? Well, the internet hates this, obviously, as they should. Everyone freaking out about it. Everyone's like, I can't believe this is how this guy's being treated. Which I completely agree. Like, what an enormous waste of time. Now, and by the way, that had 5 million views, which is more views than all of the games so far combined. We can see right here from Pro Football Talk. Pro Football Talk is projecting USFL 3 million viewers for opening night, simulcast streaming audience. That clip on Twitter has 5 million views. There's ProFootballTalk.com right there. We've got more from them in just a second. Let's start with some money. Denzel Ward got paid an ass ton of money, the cornerback for the Cleveland Browns. If you don't remember Denzel Ward, do you remember when they took Baker Mayfield? Well, they had 2 picks in the top 5 that year. The 4th overall pick was Denzel Ward, the cornerback. A lot of people thought they should take Bradley Chubb, but Denzel Ward was a better football player and is a better football player than Bradley Chubb for the Denver Broncos. I thought they should have taken Quentin Nelson personally. I still think they probably should have taken Quentin Nelson regardless. Denzel Ward, I think it ended up being something like a couple bucks over $25 million a year, $71 million fully guaranteed for a corner that completely resets the market. It is an enormous amount of money for Cleveland. They're just spending money they don't have, which is hilarious. Let's see. Denzel Ward is 5 years, $100 million, $100.5 million. Had to get that in there just to make sure that he could be the highest paid player in the National Football League. Colin Kaepernick went on a podcast, and this is getting really weird and sad. In the interview, he said, so the podcast is called I Am Athlete. Credit to where credit is due. There it is. You can pull it up right there. I Am Athlete if you want to listen to it. Quote, so yeah, if I have time to come in as a backup, that's fine, but that's not where I'm staying. And when I prove I'm a starter, I want to be able to step on the field. I just need the opportunity to walk through the door. His point was pretty interesting. He said, you have end racism, when he means painted in the back of your end zone. You have Black Lives Matter on your helmet. Everything I've said should be in alignment with what you're doing publicly. It's a $16 billion business. When I first took a knee, my jersey went number 1, and when I deal with Nike, the value increased by $6 billion. But they don't want him. I think my gut feeling is that it is definitely still racist, but it's not as racist as it is practical, and that they just don't. These billionaires are not going to employ someone who sued them and got paid. I just don't think, because usually when that happens, there will be an agreement between the employer and the employee in the lawsuit that says you can't work for this company anymore. Well, the NFL didn't do that with Colin Kaepernick, so theoretically he can still play in the NFL. I don't think they're not going to give a contract to a guy who got a court settlement. And they're not going to say it. I think that he was clearly blackballed for his outspoken stuff, and it was racist what happened to him. But I also think that in this particular instance, it's not as racist as it is they're not going to do business with somebody who sued them. And Robert Flores, the league learned its lesson with the lawsuit, and somebody gave him a job right away so they don't go through this again. And I genuinely believe that's what's going on. That's sort of my read on this, but who's to say, man? It's going to be a disaster regardless. Everybody, of course, is kind of sick of talking about it, which I think can only make it worse. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. He's clearly better than a lot of the backups who are in the NFL, and that just is what it is at this point. Let's go to some NBA drama. DeMarcus Cousins was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, and he then went on to a podcast to shit on them, and he did a good job. Quote, what did Sac do for me besides say my name on draft day? I did more for them than they did for me. That's just being honest, just being 100% honest. I had 2 owners, 3 GMs, 7 coaches in 7 years. I was there 7 years. That's a pretty good point. Also, it's not an honor to be drafted, which is a good thing to say here, because here's George Karl, the former head coach of the Nuggets and some other stuff. And George says, quote, paid you approximately $50 million and gave you the opportunity to play professional basketball for a living. They did not give him the opportunity to play professional basketball. He earned that. Being drafted by a team, they don't, except for the 7th round in the NFL and the 12th round or whatever in the NHL, the 50th round in baseball or whatever. Other than that, there's no real opportunity given. If they didn't draft him, someone else would have. He was good enough. He's obviously a super elite player. That's just a preposterous take from George Karl, but he was only pretty adequate at coaching at times. If I could throw some shade myself. Washington Commanders have publicly responded to the congressional investigation against them in a lengthy letter. Man, okay, so in an 18-page letter, the lawyer for the Washington Commanders, whose name is Jordan Siev, says former Washington employee Jason Friedman has repeatedly and extensively lied. So the person that is the source of information for the financial wrongdoing, they're calling that person a liar in an 18-page letter. So, fired for professional misconduct, right or wrong, true or false, the commanders have made their case. Loud, clear voice. They believe Freeman was lying and is grossly misinformed, and they claim that the committee was aware of these alleged flaws in his credibility. But yet they still put it out there. So they're either going to score political points, media points, or they actually did what they're accused of. And we'll get out of here on this. It's going to be a busy morning for me. I've got things to do. I just wanted to share some love with y'all. You remember when Marshawn Lynch...
What do you say? You ready to do a donut?
Marshawn Lynch drove the car at Cal. Well, the Seattle Kraken are letting him drive the Zamboni. What's up, Marshawn? Like, rate, review, subscribe. We'll be back in Better Than Ever tomorrow. We're going to continue. Oh, wait. I might not. Actually, I might be traveling. I don't know if I'm going to be back in Better Than Ever tomorrow. If there's a podcast in your feed, thanks for joining me. If not, I'll be back when I'm back. I appreciate y'all. Like, rate, review, subscribe, etc., etc. Watch Marshawn Lynch do the cookies, man. It's hilarious. Unbelievable. They just let him do it. Go for it, bud. Straighten it out. Slow her down. Okay, bud.